our media. And next, we know that the South African corruption emergency is ongoing. I wonder when we'll see an end to all of this. But online, we do have Pauli Van Vyk. She is an investigative journalist with the Daily Maverick. She has investigated, and I guess this investigation must have taken a long, long time. She's investigated and filed a story on corruption, the VBS corruption. And we're going to talk to her about Floyd Shivambu's brother quietly paying back the 4.55 million rands, which he admits he received money from VBS gratuitously. Help me with that word, please, Pauli.
Gratuitously.
Thank you indeed.
Good morning. It is a tongue tire.
It's good to have a journalist on the line who can help you with these tongue ties. Lovely to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, and good morning.
How long did it take you to investigate the story? And in the course of the investigation, were you threatened at all? And did you think that you'll come to the end of the investigation?
So it took me around 3 years. I've heard for the first time about mumblings of corruption relating to the EFF, Julius Malema and Floyd, in terms of VBS Mutual Bank around the end of 2017. And at the start of 2018, I started investigating the matter. And it took years to put some of the puzzle pieces together. I don't think I still have all of it, but we have a good sense of what transpired. I was threatened with legal action several times by Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu during the course of the investigation. When they realized that is not working, they started to try to legitimize me, which is a prevailing way of cutting journalists at the knees these days. Very influential politicians try to delegitimize you, to make you unbelievable, to call you out as a racist or someone who is crazy. So they, the attempt is simply that if no one believes you, it doesn't matter what you say. So they tried that tactic, and they also started to dog whistle to their followers, saying that I'm Satan and crazy and racist. So I received death and rape threats, and that I should be hanged and burned from their supporters. But in the end, this week we submitted or published an article that showed that an acknowledgement of debt was signed by Brian Shivambu, who was the face of the money laundering front for the EFF leaders. And it was, in essence, a contract legitimizing a crime.
Pauli, it must make you quite sick knowing that Julius Malema and the EFF are the very same people who started the Pay Back the Money campaign against the Guptas and other corrupt politicians. How do they even begin to justify how they got involved in this? And apparently, you've uncovered this in the course of your investigation, that a lot of EFF members benefited from the VBS scandal. I mean, they went to town, parties, expensive clothes, houses, and Julius Malema himself. Are these people ever going to be held to account? Are we going to ask them to pay back the money? And what Floyd Shivambu's brother has paid back, is that perhaps not just a drop in the ocean?
Well, we must remember that the EFF is now campaigning on a ticket of using political power to be influential, to change, but they're actually using the political power to earn money. It means that they transition from a legitimate political party to a grouping that uses political power to enrich themselves. In other parts of the world, we actually call that a mafia or a cartel. Now, we are speaking of around 20 million rand, specifically relating to VBS money that was stolen. I traced more money and other scams to the EFF. So their income streams are much more than just the VBS matter, even though we are focusing now on the VBS matter. About accountability, we need to ask the prosecuting authority and the Hawks hard questions of why we do not see accountability in this case. Are they scared of following through? Are they trying to prosecute other people instead of the EFF? What is it that makes them shy away from this? Because we also must remember that we have the On Point saga from way back in 2012 still hanging over their heads, and the prosecuting authority hasn't initiated any new charges in that situation. So, yeah, you're correct. The EFF did benefit. Some of the money was channeled to them. For example, the EFF paid their fourth birthday bash in Umlazi with VBS money. Now, can we just remind our listeners that the VBS money is, or the depositors are some of the poorest people in the country, stokvels and trusts that looks after widows and orphans, and really.
You're breaking up, Pauli. Do you just want to turn around or just try and take up the position you were holding just now?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Great.
So we need to remember that the crimes are all the more egregious for the fact that it's the poorest of the poor that's being used, and that it's their money that's being stolen.
So you filed this story. Is this going to be an ongoing investigation, or are you done now with the story? Whom do you leave it up to now to take the baton and run on with it?
No, it's been an ongoing investigation, and I've published multiple stories. Our listeners will be able to see that on the Daily Maverick website. Under my name, there's a series of articles really detailing the money flows from VBS Mutual Bank right into the hands of Floyd Shivambu, Julius Malema, and the EFF itself. I will continue to fight for justice for our people, but we also need the prosecuting authority and the Hawks to do their work. Journalists' job is plainly and simply to shine a light on wrongdoing, to hold powerful people to account, and to ensure that our people, the public, know what is going on in their world, so as to
what happens
the decisions they make.
So after you file the story, it's really up to the powers that be to take it up. I'm wondering about Corruption Watch's role here. Do they have teeth to do anything? Not only with this particular corruption issue. We know that South Africa is sitting in it's a corruption emergency as we speak. Every turn you take, someone or the other has got their money, has got their fingers in the till. So really, when you look at the broader picture around corruption, apart from the Hawks, the public protector, etc., who else should or could be involved in taking the matter further, in perhaps trying to retrieve the money, getting the money back, and, for it to be paid back to the people that it's been stolen from originally? And criminal charges are laid against these people. They should, it seems as if no examples have yet been made. And once these people are charged criminally, perhaps people will think twice about being so greedy.
Yeah, indeed. So SARS and the Revenue Service should investigate the matter and see whether there are any money owed to them. The curator processes and the liquidation processes are the companies involved in solvency investigations, and some of the money has already been recouped. This acknowledgement of debt that we are discussing now is one of those processes, and those civil proceedings are ongoing. The criminal proceedings we as the public can do nothing about.
Mm.
We need the prosecuting authority and the Hawks to do their work. Um, People like, or institutions like KSAC or Corruption Watch can always put pressure on the Hawks and the prosecuting authority, but constitutionally that is where justice should lie in terms of criminal proceedings.
Okay, I think a colleague of yours at the Daily Maverick has also broken a story on the health department and their link with digital vibes. Do you know anything about that, or do we have to speak to the journalist involved?
Yes, Peter Louis Meiber wrote successfully about Digital Vibes, which is a consulting and communications company for Dr. Zweli Mkhize, who is the Minister of Health. Peter Louis Meiber found out that one of the most egregious examples, perhaps, of money funneled towards the minister for his benefit and his comrades and friends, Digital Vibes, is money being paid for him to appear in an SABC interview that was paid through to this company. That is one of the most egregious examples, and one that really is astonishing, because ministers in cabinet should use and have been using the SABC,
the state broadcaster,
as a public broadcaster,
yes,
for years without being paid. That is part of their job. And now this company, this middle company, ensured that they monetize the minister's appearance before the public.
Yeah, he's
Peter
distancing.
will, however, be able to describe in more detail what happened there.
We have tried to get hold of him. We haven't been successful thus far, but we will continue trying to get him online. However, the minister has distanced himself from Digital Vibes. So there obviously is so much more to that story. In general, do you think we're going to be seeing lots more cases being exposed, cases of corruption? And what are you working on next, or can't you say just right now?
Yeah, look, the minister can distance himself all he wants. That is the playbook of all crooks in this country, especially. Peter Louis Meiber already showed that his family benefited, that he benefited, and that he is friends with the Digital Vibes company. So distancing himself from the matter is not going to help. It's the same as Julius Malema and Floyd Shivambu distancing themselves from the VBS saga. If they are aggrieved, they should take us to court. Take the initiative and fight this in the open. But that's the problem. They will not, because they will not survive a discovery process against Daily Maverick. Daily Maverick is continuing with all investigations. We're looking at the PPE saga. We're looking at corporate investigations. I recently published an investigation relating to insurance, how Charles Lear and Diane Burns, which ran an insurance intermediary, premium collector, were responsible for a 1.7 billion rand black hole in the insurance industry. So this is something that I will continue to air, and something that our listeners can look forward to, and perhaps go Google if they do not know about it yet.
Pauli, wonderful talking to you. Keep up the amazing work. We will keep close contact with you, because these are the stories we need to ensure that our listeners and viewers get to see and hear about. So we will be talking with you on a more regular basis, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. Good day to you and your listeners.
And you too. Pauli Van Vyk from the Daily Maverick. She's the one who broke the story on Floyd Shivambu's brother having benefited from the VBS scandal, money scandal. 8:33 still to come on the show. We'll be talking with co-founder of Restless Beings, that's Mabrur Ahmed, about the situation in eastern Myanmar. We'll also be talking with Azar Wadi, director of Salam Foundation, and Professor Faisal Bucks about the possible third wave in KZN and how it is that they have been able to identify that KZN is in fact in the third wave of COVID-19.